Hey, everybody. I have missed you guys so much. Life be lifing, okay? We be having to get ourselves together, but what counts the most is that we get back to work, okay? Thank you so much for joining me for the second episode in season 2 of my podcast. I swear I'm an introvert. I am your host, Lindsey Evans, serial entrepreneur and owner of Heels to Sneakers. Go check out our website at www.heels2sneakers.net. We come up with some uplifting and funny information to help push women to show up in the full capacity of their purpose. To walk in your purpose, it will take you out of your comfort zone. People always try to fit you into a box, and for some of us, it just doesn't work. We always see the person and the purpose, but we never see their process. As for me, I'm an introvert. This podcast is to celebrate talented and successful African American women, business owners, bosses, CEOs, leaders who have evolved from their comfort zones while beating the odds against the rules society uses to force us into a box. Please welcome today's guest, the amazing, beautiful, and talented Trish Seye.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Trish.
Hey, Lindsay.
Okay, full disclosure, y'all. I've known Trish my entire life, and her first name to me is my Trish, like one word, my Trish. So I'm gonna try to be professional and call her what the other people call her, but they don't really matter to me because she's my Trish. But okay, how are you, beautiful?
I am wonderful. How are you, beautiful?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm grateful that you're having me on. This is great.
Absolutely. So listen, you're very successful, and I'm gonna have you tell the people what you do because you do a lot. Um, but then I want to talk about like what got you there. So tell us what you do.
Tell you what I do. So my business is Stay Sweet Desserts. I started it probably 7 years ago, and it came from just me making sweets for my kids. And someone said, "Do you sell these?" And I said, "No, this is just for birthday." And I'm a frugal girl, so I never wanted to go out and buy stuff. So I said, "I'm just gonna make it. Their birthday coming up. Let me go on and make something." Let me go on and make something for them. So that's how Stay Sweet Desserts got started. And I will always say 2020 was my busiest year. So yeah, I started with that. But and then I have another life doing other things. Yes. Did you want me
That's
to get into
normal.
some
Yeah,
of
because I think they need to know like you're
that?
important.
Well, so for 10 years, I worked in the public sector at Chicago Housing Authority in various positions there. My last position, I was an assistant director of the Fair Housing Department, making sure that people received the housing and weren't discriminated against. And then Blessing came about in 2021. I got a call about a position. And so now I am director of independent living at Access Living, where we help all people with disabilities in terms of them being able to live independently. And it's been such a rewarding experience. It's the largest department, director of the largest department there, but it has been such a great experience to be there and to do the work that we do on a regular basis. I never thought I would come into having the opportunity to speak with as many people as I do, but yeah, it's been great. One thing you don't know, Lindsay, is before I
Uh-oh.
started with Stay Sweet Desserts,
I
I
have.
had businesses from the time I was a teenager. I had,
We are twins. What? Tell me more.
yes, I had Trisha's Heavenly Melodies where I was,
Oh,
I think I was 14 or 15 singing at weddings and
were
getting paid.
you? I was gonna tell
Yes.
y'all that she is an amazing singer, but I was gonna let her put that out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And
Yes,
then
wedding singer.
yeah, years later, I started Say Love songs. So I wrote songs for people and their
Oh,
weddings. So yeah, yeah. This has
that's
been going on for
beautiful.
some time. So yeah, those are all of the couple of things I do
All the
every now.
couple, yeah, all the couple of things. And so Trish, she baking and being creative, and then she sings, and then she helped the people. She using like her whole brain. You know, some people can only use one side, and some people can only use the other. She put them together, and but she's still standing. Just saying.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
also have Brooke here today. She's not gonna let
Okay.
mommy do this podcast without her. We cannot open it, okay? It does not open, but go check on your babies, okay? Okay.
Love her voice. Love her voice.
That is so cool. One day when I saw you, and CHA, I was working for one of the private contractors. We were administering the Chicago the program. I was a housing
Hmm.
specialist, and people knew your name and stuff. And so I was proud. But just to see you, you just had such a passion for people and for fairness and to make sure people get, you know, what they can,
Yeah,
to, help them out, in their life. I mean, we all get to some point in life where we need a little something.
absolutely.
If it's not money or a roof over our head, it's a hug. It's like some peace of mind, something,
Yeah,
because you're not gonna sit here and tell me that you're also perfect and your life you never went through nothing, because I know you're lying.
absolutely.
We all go through something.
Yeah,
Okay, girl. And so that is so cool. Congratulations on just your
thank you.
growth in that industry. But let's talk about these sweets, okay? Because I've seen them, and I'm like, who did that? They're like, Trish. I said, this don't make sense to me. I didn't know Trish did desserts and sweets, and they're really pretty, y'all. And she got like these repeat customers, and they just, they be talking about her. Um, I'm a Sam's Club girl, so I don't do well with the pretty stuff. I just go get my little cake, my little what they call it, the cream buttercream cake. But
Yes,
I love to look at the beautiful creations.
yes, yes, yes. No,
um,
it was I always believe if you're going to do something, you should do it with the utmost, like at the top percent, in
yeah,
terms of what you're presenting to people and what you're giving people. So even though I was kind of making it where the flavor was important, after a while I was like, no, but I want it to be pretty.
yeah,
Yeah.
because but I have tasted, some really pretty stuff tastes disgusting. And so usually when it's ugly, I'm like, yes, I know it's going to be so good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's terrible, but that would be my little mind. You're so funny. So you have babies, right? Well, y'all, they're grown people, but you
I
have babies. Um, Tell us about they like gonna be the president of the United States, and they're gonna be like super important.
I love them. I love them. I love them. I think that they are what pushes me each and every day. I would
Hmm.
not be in the position and doing the things that I'm doing if it wasn't for them. I mean, this business came from them.
Them.
And so but I have a 13-year-old daughter named Reagan. Just talented in so many ways. She sells her drawing. She's an artist. She's in gifted
Yes.
art in her school and sells her stuff and all of that. And I'm so incredibly proud of her and all the things she does. Orchestra. She just joined choir this year. That brought
Uh,
some tears to mommy's eyes.
she following the footsteps.
I think she's like, Mom, you will not pressure me to do this. So I'm like, however you want to do this, we're gonna do this. All right.
But
Yes,
I support
wonderful. Yeah,
you.
absolutely, absolutely. And then we have Mr. Gavin Say, who is my 9-year-old / 65-year-old
Exactly.
So he's very different. I really don't know what he's going to be. He could be anything. I tell him he could be a lawyer. He could be, because he's very good with debate. But I won't be surprised if I see him on a big screen somewhere. I woke up this morning to him doing his chores and playing Al Green in the background. I mean, this is
Oh, come on,
this is the
Gavin.
life we live. This is what we do. Okay.
I love it. My son is on this Michael Jackson kick, and I swear, first of all, y'all, I love Michael Jackson, but if I gotta hear something else about him, another little known fact, I mean, really, okay,
Yes.
it's he taking me there. Um,
Yes.
that is hilarious. That is so cool. I understand what you mean when you say, your children really keep you going. Um, I remember we were having some financial um, struggles when my husband lost his job, and it was right after we bought our house. And I would look at, Blake. I say, okay, we can't just stop. And everything that we pretty much experienced, I look at them like, well, they deserve the best, so I'm gonna
Yes.
try my best.
Yes.
If I give my best, then that's enough. So that's interesting that a lot of moms feel the same way. We don't talk about it, but
It's
we feel
true.
the same way.
Yes, absolutely. I always say that it asks to be here. And so I
Yes,
have to
it is.
always operate as if, it's not like one of those kind of things where we kind of look at it like, I'm the mama, but no, but you didn't ask to be here. I wanted you here. So how am I going to cultivate a great, kind of environment for you on a daily basis?
Hmm. So,
Yeah.
y'all, it is possible to be boss 7 days a week during the day, but then an amazing mama. And I know we're hard on ourselves as moms, but just to look at our seeds, it shows that we are doing a better job than we think we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, so I have to go back to the beginning because we want to talk about like what made you get into. Phone was ringing. What made you get into um, the public sector? We know that the treats came from the babies, but what made you get into that sector? Before you start, my husband said, because Trish Mama she taught me how to play piano. She did. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that the world knew that Sister O's
That's
taught
it.
Brian Evans how to play
That's
piano.
it.
He has been playing. He's a beautiful keyboardist. He's been playing for years. So thank God for your mama. And I
I
want
did
to
not
make
know
sure
she
I honor.
taught him.
You
I didn't know
did
that.
it.
No.
Every time her name, because she taught me how to play piano. I was like, okay, B. But yes, she is the one, and you know, he's done some great things in music. So it's
Wow.
thanks to your mama.
Yes.
But what landed you there to?
You know what? I've always had a heart for people. But I love all things law. So anything that had to do with legal, I love some law and order. I love this. So I got into a certain place and then got a little bit of some legal background and got
Hmm.
my legal certificate. And I started working for this law firm, big law firm in Chicago. And I'm working every day. And I remember saying these exact words: I don't feel like I'm helping anybody at the end of the day.
Oh wow,
But
yeah.
who's being helped at the end of the day? And I had my daughter was maybe I think she was under one, and
Mm.
so I started looking for another job. Here's the funny thing: I applied to CHA not knowing it was working at CHA. I applied to a paralegal position working in hearings, and it was a recruiter that did the hiring, so they didn't put CHA under there.
Oh right, right.
Yeah. And so that's how I knew that it was God led, because it was kind of like I go into this big building like, is this a CHA? And get the interview. And from there, it just catapulted to new opportunities and things like that. That's when I first started working for my mentor at that time, who has now
Mhm.
become just all the things in my life. But it has been kind of God ordained from the beginning. It was kind of like you speak it out of your mouth, and He was like, and so here's the opportunity.
Yeah, that, ooh, well, either way it goes, you speak the positive or the negative, he'll give it to you. Woo!
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Now that's
Yeah.
yeah, that was God ordained. 'Cause
Yes.
to not even
Yes.
know the company,
I
that was
didn't.
amazing.
Pulled up to the big red building like, this is the CHA. Okay.
Everybody knows the CNA building in Chicago. If you look at the skyline, it's the red one. It's the red one.
Yes.
That's where
Yes.
they are.
Yes, 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 yeah. So it was a great experience. I got to meet a ton of people there, but I believe that it also prepared me for what I do
Yeah.
currently at Access Living, because all things housing, all things, just people being able to live independently, that covers a gamut of things. But I believe the housing starts first, because if you can't house someone, it's very difficult to set up other services and things like that for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our home is our sanctuary, and
Yeah.
Brooke wants me to put the underwear on the puppy. So I'll put the underwear on the puppy while we talk about other things.
This is
Um,
important.
this is
Okay. This is
important.
important.
Listen, I know that, being a black woman in such a large industry, even though, you're dealing with the disadvantaged, still to rise up in the ranks, I know it wasn't a piece of cake. So, could you shed a little light on, some things you ended up overcoming? God bless you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it in my good professional business speak. Yeah, lots of different things that came up along the way. I bring up my mentor because this lady is one of the most even keeled type of people. And I
Mm-hmm.
needed to meet her when I did, because when things would come, I was pop off girl when I first met her. And so it would be like, and so this happened, and she's just
She
like,
said,
right, okay, all right.
unbothered.
Yeah, she was completely like, "Oh, okay." And so what we're gonna do? Okay. And so your next step is this. Don't mess with that. Don't mess with that. Move on. And so it gave me that kind of mentality as I move forward, even having to leave her in the position that I was in working for her.
Mm-hmm.
We joke about it. I will always say, they say WWJD, her name is Audrey, and I'll say, "Well, yeah, I got to think about
WWAD.
WWJD. What's she gonna do? How's she gonna handle this?" Because in my mind, I'm just, but did you hear this? Did you hear what they said and this and yeah, but that's not why we're here. And then she has such a compassionate heart for people. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about the position. It was really about, she would even say, "Trish, we're not selling chicken dinners. This is housing people. So when you speak into them, you have to think about this completely encompasses all things that has to do with their life." And so you could leave it and kind of just be willy-nilly with how you deal with them. But at the end of the day, have they been helped and get the service that they need in order to be able to live? And so that was always ingrained in my mind. But I will say, yeah, I mean, the green-eyed monster is real. So the green-eyed monster is real. And I was telling somebody this recently about the green-eyed monster. I said, that is something you will never be able to speak to an individual about. That is something that you have to see it for
You
yourself,
had experience.
know it, and move past it, because that's not something that you're ever able to kind of have a conversation about if they're not there to kind of talk about it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And so that's been, as a Black woman, sometimes that's very difficult. Being the only Black woman in certain spaces can be very difficult, and making sure your voice is heard, and making sure that you speak to things that are uncomfortable and
Yeah.
still be able to speak to it.
Um. You hit the nail on the head because this past year has been life changing. Being out here. Excuse me, Brooke. We could go put that one down and go pick up something else until mommy's done, okay? See, I put on my nice mama voice for you guys, but if I wasn't on the screen, we would have saying something else. Um, but this past year, just being active in Orland Park alone, is very, very racist out here. And a lot of times people are looking at me like, well, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are some people that I've met. I absolutely love them. They absolutely love me. And I know that they would kill a brick over me. And that's been helpful to have those people that you can, kind of go back to, because
Yeah.
as Black women, it's not going to be all rainbows and sunshine.
Yes.
We fight. Would you agree that we have to work 2 to 3 times as hard in certain positions, even though we have the same knowledge, the same
Yes.
skill set, but because our skin is dark, we got a little melanin, then we got to work. It's frustrating sometimes.
It is. It is. It is. I will say the thing that has been my saving grace is finding that circle,
Yeah.
finding that circle of people who are doing what you're doing on a daily basis. In those days when you're just like, I cannot do this anymore. That they're able to say, yes, you are. I remember when I got the position that I have now, and I remember saying, I can't do that. Like that's a
Did you
huge.
say it?
I sure did. I can't do that, and I'm silly. So I said these words. This is what I said, Lindsay. I'm too silly to run a department. I'm just too silly.
What? That was your reason? No, that's
I'm too
funny.
silly to do that. And so one of my friends, I love her, Neota, said to me, you gonna do it. You can do it. And so I want to hear this. You're gonna do it. Another friend said,
Right.
I got a book. I'm mailing it to you. I want you to read the book before you start. I have friends that were just coming in, just going right through. You're gonna do this. And you have to have, I talk about the green eye monster, but you got to have those people who then push you and are
Yeah.
propellers in that journey and some people see the anointing and the purpose on you, and they're going to push you as well. And so I'm grateful for those people who prayed, who pushed, who praised, and who said you can do it. Oh, hi, Brooke.
You are so, when you say you're right.
Yeah,
I'm experiencing that too, where because people, they really do need us, like our little brown girls that we're creating this podcast for. Every day is not a strong day. And we get up and we're expected to show up. And some days I just want to put my head under the blanket and be
yes,
by myself,
yes,
and so that's amazing that you said that it is important. We have people that they can relate because we're in the same field, but then you have that circle that's not
yes.
going to let you quit on yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I went back to school
Man.
when I was getting my master's, and I had a big transition, life transition happening. And I
Mhm.
said, it's too much happening right now. I'll just quit. I'll quit. I'll come back to it later. And I
Hmm.
remember a girl called me and she said, so if you quit now, you're not going to go back. I'm just going to let you know. So you're going to have to power through this and finish. I'm so glad that she took the time to say that to me because she's right. I would have never finished. I
Yeah.
was never going to go back, but I was very intent on quitting. And
Yeah.
she called and said, and she's got all kind of degrees behind her name, and so I knew she knew what she was talking
She
about.
knows
She
what
said,
she's talking
"If you stop now, you won't go back." And I'm grateful for Black women who take the time to do that. And I say this, from now until my dying day, I will be that Black woman for other up and coming
about.
Black women or
Yeah.
Black women who are in their fields who need that push. Because if I didn't get that push, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Same.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's so encouraging. That's so encouraging. I'm
Yeah.
trying to pull my little self together. I've been all emotional lately, so I'm trying to get my little emotions together.
Now you know I'll drop a
Um,
tear in a minute. So, I have my box sitting right over here. I will drop a good tear in a minute.
these positions that we hold and, have to operate in, sometimes it feels like it's too much. And we like, now, you sure I'm like,
Yes.
you picked the right person, right, God? I just want to
Yeah.
make sure you weren't like, you know, and I'm reading this book. It's called Five Things Successful People Do Before 8 a.m. And this book is really kicking my butt. Um, One thing though, the chapter I'm in, she quoted the scripture, "To whom much is given, much is required."
Mm-hmm.
And so she started off because she became this successful woman, but before, of course, she wasn't. So someone saw her when she was successful and said, "How did you get all this? And how did you do all this?" She said, "Oh, it didn't start off like this. I
Mm.
had to develop some disciplines." And she was saying that, people, they always want all this money and all these different things, but um, to whom much is given, much is required. So
Yes.
you're not just going to get it, you're going to be required to have to put some work in.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's why I think it's important for us to talk about our stories, because people will look at you and say, "Oh, Trish got it all together. Okay, she's doing," but they, is because they're not on a journey with you to see the other stuff. I don't want people to think that it's this la di da world that we live in and we just wake up successful. Um,
Yeah.
because that's not true.
And also discussing the misses, not just the hits, but the misses or the times. I always tell this story. Before I got the job at Access Living, I was a shoe-in. I was told I was supposed to get a particular job. It was basically a done deal. And for some reason, I did not get that job. But as I get older, I believe more so and heavily into where God wants me is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And so when I didn't get it, it just didn't make sense because I'm like, they basically said it's yours. But then the pandemic hit. And when the
Mm.
pandemic hit, that particular position meant I was going to have to be gone all the time, despite the fact that the pandemic was going. And I thought about it and I said, and that's why. That's why I didn't
Because
get it.
he had to
You
protect you from that.
Absolutely. And but in
Mm.
our minds, sometimes we take it as a miss. We take it as like, I didn't get that job. I must not be good enough. Then you start going through this thing, in your mind. Then I must not be this and I must not be that. But then when you think about it in terms of God puts you exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And that was why I didn't get it. But it was other misses that was just a miss just cause. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that those misses are part of your story. And so when people see the wins, I always tell people, don't look at the glamour of the wins. You're gonna have to hear this whole story to know that it takes work. Sometimes it's gonna take tears. Sometimes it's gonna take sacrifice. And sometimes it's gonna be lonely. My mentor told me as I was moving up and I came in crying one day, she said, it get a little lonely at the top, Trish. And I was like, I don't like that.
Oh my God.
She said it's gonna get lonely as
That
you
is
go up higher.
so true.
Yeah.
I went in my
Yeah.
office one day. I felt that, and I know, people had always said that. I'm like, I got friends, but no, it's not the same when you're in that position and in that role. It's not many people up there
Yes.
with you. And
Absolutely.
I had to get my little stuff together on that one. That was a tough day, a tough
Yes.
season. um,
Absolutely. Yes.
you're like, I don't have nobody. Like, that's how I feel.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes, you know what, too? I think that it drew me so much closer to trusting God on certain things. As it got lonelier, and things start shedding as I was going up, and people start falling off. I had to really get to a place of trusting God, because it was breaking my heart. And I was just like, I'd rather not do this if this is what this means. And
Mm-hmm.
but you're hearing this voice saying, but I didn't tell you that you're not gonna do this. I told you this is where you're going. Yeah.
I swear. Me and God, me and God be having like real talks.
Yes. Yes.
But now listen, okay? I know you the boss. I know you my creator.
Yes.
I know you hold my life in your hands. But if I could just
Yes.
interject,
Can I go back to when life was a little bit simpler, God? Like, can we do that?
man. And then I thought I was actually doing something then. That's just silliness.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
If there's any advice you could share with our brown girls to encourage them on their journey to finding out what their purpose is and what they are supposed to be doing, what would you tell them?
I think in terms of finding what your passion is, not going off of, naysayers and what everyone else is telling you that they think it should be. One of the things I tell my daughter all the time in terms of listening to her friends, I say, they're friends. It's fine to listen to your friends. I don't know if you realize you all are on the same journey at the same time. Right. And so it's kind of like being on a racetrack. You all are going at the same time. Now, there's people that are in front of you that have finished the race. Those are the ones you want to listen to. That's called wisdom. Those people who have already been over the hurdles and all of that those are the ones you want to listen to. But you don't listen to the girl who right next to you going over the hurdle. You got to be able to find that voice within you to say, no, maybe that's not going to work for me. Now, some of your friends do have your best interests at heart, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so they may be saying things to kind of help you, but you got to really be able to have a good case of discernment, being able to know, no, this is what I know. This is either what God told me or this is what I know I'm supposed to do. And then once you learn that passion, once you feel what it is that, now this is where I'm going to be effective, go after it heavy. Like, get the training that you need, do whatever you need to do to kind of even develop it even more. Find out how can I do this a little bit on the side, so that, and then I can build up to it later on. But the biggest thing I will say this, once you've actually gotten to that place and you're already in the groove of things, one of the best pieces of advice that a friend recently told me is Black women got to learn how to rest. And man, that thing took me
I'm
out.
about to fall out the chair. I'm
That
about
thing
to
took
fall
me
out
out.
this chair. Oh my goodness.
He sent me a podcast, and I wanted to go to sleep. I said it's time to go to sleep, because I mean it was just, she said, because we've gotten so accustomed to run, 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 run. We got to do this next thing, next thing, next thing. And she said it's nothing against you when you just sit down and rest. It's nothing against you. I'm reading a book now, Lindsay, that's called Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and a lot of things
Ooh.
is associated with work, labor. We got to do this, and a lot of things we perpetuate that came from things that were passed down and put on us. And
Yes.
sometimes in doing your purpose, you got to be able to step away, rest your mind, your body. And I'm talking to myself about this, so I'm not
Oh,
just
I'm
saying this
clear.
general. This for me too. But you got to be able to rest and not perpetuate what was pushed on us hundreds of years ago. We was going back out in the field after just having a whole baby. You see what I'm saying? And so some of those things are still going on up in here for Black women. And we gotta get a way to get that up out of our systems.
You know, to do that detangling, mm, it's a process.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's all we knew.
Yes. Go.
Just
Go.
go.
And in our minds, that's success. Now, see, that's a whole nother thing.
There's
In
a
our
whole
minds, success.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But sometimes success is resting. Sometimes success is getting your mind right. And in that it develops what's your next move.
You sound like the lady in this book now. Okay, because she said one of the things that you should do is pray and meditate. Like just be quiet. And
Yes.
this is how, all of these millionaires and billionaires get their next move. They're not talking. You just be quiet. You read your books, you pray, you write, and then you
Yes.
go back to it. And that's so interesting that you said that.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, that's that's so much. um, I'm telling you. So y'all, the self care, okay, people, self care. Whether
Yes.
you are a mama or not, you still need to care for yourself. It's
Yes.
not
Yes.
selfish. It's not selfish. It's good for you.
And even on that podcast, she said not even just self care, but the village being a part of the care, everybody being a part and knowing this needs to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
some people in my village. I got some people in my village. They say if you don't go
Yes.
sit your tail down, you're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Yes, yes, yeah. Because sometimes if it's not something that we do on our own, it's forced on us, either health wise, mental things that happen, like all of those things. And so it's kind of like I always think about this. People. Somebody said, "Trish, you need you." I say, "Yeah." And as mothers, the first thing we say, our kids need us. They need us. They need us. They do. They need us in our right mind.
They sure do. They sure do. That's a
Yeah.
whole another story,
Uh-huh.
Trish.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. I just thank you so much for taking the time out just to encourage, our girl and me, for sure, but other women that we all go through the same thing, maybe
Yeah.
in a different, we on a different road, but it's the same steps. We feel the same
Yeah.
emotions,
Yeah.
and wow, I just really appreciate you. I know you're going to be even more successful. Like that's not even a question. And you're doing such an amazing job with your babies, and just a breath of fresh air. I love you so much.
I love you too, Lindsay. I say this to you. I'm proud of all that you are and all that
Me
you're doing. I look
too.
at you with your baby girl and my heart is warm. I am just so proud. And I remember young Lindsay and I'm looking at you now and I see different stuff that pops up in terms of what's going on with you. And I'm just so, so incredibly proud of you. And always had such a
Thank
sweet
you.
spirit. Always.
Thank you, my Trish. I will. I'll talk to you offline. Wink, wink.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. Did it do it? Oh, no, da, 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 da.